Hello. Hi. Happy Thursday. We are back with more David and Celeste. I've done it. I've gone down the deep end for sure with this case. I mean, we've always covered it here, but the stuff that's coming out, oh boy. Hello. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys have been having a great week. I have. I'm working on dropping more pre-recorded videos, so keep your eye out for those. Hello, Tennessee Sunflower. Made another live. I'm working out but listening. Thank you guys for being here. I know there's a ton of people covering this case, and you guys are choosing to be here, so I greatly appreciate that. I've had to start this one from the beginning. Yeah, I stopped after like the family didn't want to testify to the grand jury. I was just really, I think I was just frustrated with the fact that it had been 7 months, 6 months, and nothing had happened. And that's interesting because we're going to jump right into it. We all were thinking nothing's happening, and little did you know, today at the preliminary hearing that was held at 8:30 a.m. in Los Angeles, California, turns out that David has been wiretapped. Yeah, they've been wiretapping his devices. And he is allegedly has been caught with a ton of CSAM. Digital, I believe, clearly. And that's the reason for the 40 terabytes of data that the prosecution has. So what does that mean? That he has content on his devices with child, the word that rhymes with corn. Yeah. It reminds us of Stephen Stearns, doesn't it? Ugh, he's another disgusting one I can't stand. But anyways, hi, welcome. I'm Ellie. Thank you guys for being here. Hello. Yep, shake my head. Yeah, I saw Debbie, I saw Christine, Austin, Patricia, Justice for Celeste. Hello, Adrian, Evie. Hello, my love. Kelly, Maria. Hello, Maria. Tennessee. I've had to start this one from the beginning. I'm listening. Yeah, I have a timeline too. So if you want me to forward it. And hello, Jason. Good to see you. And hello, Chad. And hello, Vanjie. I've missed you. Good to see all of you. Okay, so I have a lot. I have a lot. I might have to make the interviews into a different live. Because I have some clips. I have a few clips. We're going to review what SF Investigates and Megan 𝗠𝗲𝗏 have been saying about this. Those are reliable sources, as well as Lauren Conlon. We're going to watch a clip about her with the autopsy report. So we did cover that yesterday in depth. We did go through the 26 pages. So if you missed it, go back and replay. And I want to get into... I'm deep into a David Reddit thread, and it has a lot of good stuff, so I want to hit that as well. So let's get started. I'll just shut up and we can get that started. So the first video is just kind of about the preliminary hearing today. So basically, summed up, what I got is that there's a lot of digital evidence data, and the defense is like, you guys need to provide hardware. They have gone, I think, through only 10 terabytes, or I think there was only 10 terabytes of info that they were able to transfer. We'll get a clarity of that in a second. But yeah, there's a lot here, and I'm sitting there thinking, was David recording all of this the whole time? Like his relationships with Celeste? And Celeste is allegedly not the only victim. So I'm just thinking, holy balls. Is it material involving Celeste or other kids? Children, young female children. I'm really disturbed. I think it's getting worse. And the fact that they were wiretapping him since when? Since maybe they knew that she went missing because he had something to do with it and the family had reported it and they did nothing about it, or since the body was found. And if so, was he aware or not? Because if he was talking about all of this on the phone and he didn't know he was being wiretapped or have any idea, ooh, I bet they have some pretty damning evidence on David. So let's get caught up. Yeah, it's crazy. Hey, Psycho. Wow. It's a lot. It's a lot. So let's get into this clip, the first clip that I have. Um, it's just a 2-minute clip, kind of going.
A hearing just wrapped up for singer David in his first-degree murder case.
The prosecution revealed details about disturbing digital evidence. Let's get to CBS LA's Rick Montanez with what we learned in court today. Rick, what are you hearing?
Amy, Chris, the hearing just wrapped up within the half hour here, and cameras were not allowed in court, but I can tell you that the defendant, David Burke, was in court today in shackles and wearing that orange jumpsuit. The biggest new piece of evidence revealed, prosecutors say a significant amount of child porn found on Burke's cell phone. We also want to point out that this all happens one day after the medical examiner's report became public. That is the report on the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. The report says, or I should say the family of Rivas Hernandez is absolutely devastated to learn the gruesome details contained in that write-up. That's according to a family statement. So this report says the 14-year-old girl died of sharp force trauma, but the autopsy was difficult because of the severe decomposition of her dismembered body when it was found in the singer's abandoned Tesla last September. Officials say she died 5 months earlier in April of last year. Burke, the suspect known by his stage name David, was arrested last Thursday. On Monday, he pled not guilty to the capital murder charges. We spoke with a former federal prosecutor just a short time ago here on CBS LA Mornings about this new evidence revealed in today's hearing and the fact that David's phone, according to prosecutors, contains child porn.
And obviously, we don't know if it's Celeste Rivas's images and videos or something else, but that is a significant offense. Obviously, it helps prosecutors prove the sex crimes, the lewd and lascivious, Penal Code Section 288, but it's also a separate crime in and of itself. And it's certainly the possibility that the feds even step into this case because they typically will prosecute these types of child pornography cases.
And we also learned from prosecutors that there is a large amount of digital data that needs to be processed and shared as evidence with the defense. So there is a lot that will happen as this case moves forward, but it will be back in court. Both sides will be back in court on April 29th next week, so they can get an update on where they stand with evidence, whether they need more time to prepare for a potential capital murder trial. Also worth noting, today's date, April 23rd, marks the 1 year since Celeste Rivas Hernandez was last seen alive. Reporting live in downtown Los Angeles, Rick Montanez.
So, yeah, they continued it for today. There's too much evidence or data to go through. I know some of us are not surprised considering the situation, but I'm a little. After we read the autopsy, of course, things changed a lot, in my opinion. But I don't know that I expected maybe material doing with Celeste, but I hope it's not other children or victims involved here as well. So I want to go over to Steve Fisher's X page. He's been on top of this case. We're going to go over through him and Megan 𝗠𝗲𝗏 just for the updates because they did not allow cameras in the courtroom for today's preliminary hearing. So SF says the David preliminary hearing has been continued until May 1st. Matters of procedural importance were discussed today, mostly about transferring discovery from the DA office to the defense. Items of interest that came up include David's devices, which contained a significant amount of child you-know-what, which required special handling. Also, there's a large amount of data from a wiretap. Search warrants will be unsealed. New search warrants from devices at the time of the arrest have not had returns yet. David did not look confident in court today, in my opinion. He was in an orange jumpsuit and just stared forward. #Justice for Celeste. Another update is a couple of other items of interest from the David hearing this morning. Investigative grand juries convened in November of 2025. and December of 2025 and February of 2026. She also stated that the defense would need to provide a 10 terabyte drive for David's iCloud account alone. Oh, yeah, that's a lot. Hey, Yasin. Hey, Tammy. It's 10 terabytes of data for just David's iCloud account alone. That's a lot of videos, a lot of pictures, a lot of files. This case is sickening and heartbreaking. Yes, it is, Olivia. Good to see you. Whoa. Additional search warrants were served on iPhones or phones, tablets, and other devices at the time of David's arrest. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. What is that? Like, how many? I don't know. I'm not I don't work for a computer company or anything. How many? That's a lot, right? 10 terabytes on just an iCloud? Or maybe not if you're like famous, because you know you probably have a lot of stuff. 5,000 hours of HD video based on 500 hours per 1 terabyte, or hold over 22,000 episodes of a show. For data transfers, moving 10 terabytes at an average speed takes roughly 23 to 48 hours. Oh, wow. Photos, 2.5 million photos. Wait, is that accurate? I mean, that's what Google is saying. Holy shit. Just know that it's a lot of data. A lot of material. Okay, so moving on. Wow. Oh, that's all he has. But let's go over to Megan. You guys don't. Wait, what's her? Let me pull her up. The internet is dangerous. Yes, it is. Wait, is that her name? Did I spell it wrong? Yes, I did. My bad. Okay, she did updates, and I just want to go over hers real quick. Ooh, looks like it's really not looking too good for David, huh? I guess I wonder, I don't even think they care about the lyrics to his music, because they're probably thinking they have enough information on him to. Wow, that's crazy. It is crazy. So Megan says a lawyer named Royal Forest Oaks is this regarding David? I don't know, but she says Royal Oaks final pitch to Judge Olmedo for cameras was the public will like her more. I don't think that's regarding David. Not all surprising, David's preliminary hearing is now scheduled for May 1st. He's back in court next Wednesday, April 29th, to discuss how much discovery has been obtained and whether the prelim will proceed. Oh, okay. A prosecutor said they found a significant amount of child, you know what, on his iCloud. A preliminary hearing on murder. Okay, May 1st. Oh, that's all she put? I thought she would have more. More updates. I guess not. Let's jump over to the next clip. That's a lot of data is all I know. This clip is regarding the phone wire. So we're just kind of reviewing like the top news. This is from Kadisha Lynn. Oh wait, let's read this article, this TMZ article real quick. Phone chock full of child, you know what? Contains a lot of child material, at least according to prosecutors. The singer was in court Thursday. Oh yeah, today's exactly 1 year of the day that he murdered Celeste. So a year ago on today's date, he stabbed her. So May 1st, during the hearing, prosecutors claimed they went through his phone and found a significant amount of material. It's unclear if the alleged CP features Celeste. Prosecutors also revealed a wiretap was involved in the investigation. They said the wiretap took place last year, but there were no other specifics. David was shackled and wore an orange jail jumpsuit. He was calm, cool, collected, and looked kind of bored. He spoke briefly to the judge, telling her, "Yes, ma'am," as she explained to him how the prelim works. David's high-powered defense attorney, led by Blair Burke, told the judge prosecutors had not turned over their evidence, and LA County District Attorney Beth Silverman explained the delay. Prosecutors revealed that there were 3 separate investigative grand juries, and it sounds like those transcripts will become available at some point. As we reported, David pled not guilty earlier this week, and his defense challenged the DA to put their cards on the table or fold, demanding an immediate preliminary hearing, which that's what we were talking about. Prosecutors said in court Thursday they will be ready for next week's prelim, and they want to go to trial within 60 days. Whoa, go to trial within 60 days? They want to go to trial within 60 days. Holy moly, guys. Holy moly. I'm going to try to be at that trial, so just know that. I will. David was arrested by LAPD last Thursday, and prosecutors have charged him Monday with murder in connection to Celeste's death. Okay, we know all of this. We found out from yesterday's autopsy that one of her left eyeball is missing or has been, from the decomposition phase, is absent. We know that she is missing her ring finger and her pinky. Where are those? And we know that he probably tried to get rid of evidence because that is the finger she had David's name tattooed. And now all of this. So this is a lot. This is a lot. Let's move on. I just wanted to go through that really quickly. The TMZ, we're just hitting the top news places that have released information today. Okay, this next clip is about the wiretap. So it is by Kadisha Lynn. She has her own page. You guys definitely go follow. She does like clips, TikTok, that look like TikTok. They're from TikTok, but maybe she brings them over here. I'm not sure. But she does a lot of good clips and short videos of all the true crimes. So let me pull that up. Here we go. And please make sure you guys are hitting that like button. Greatly appreciate it.
Today was supposed to be David's preliminary hearing, but they ended up rescheduling it for May 1st. And I'm honestly not surprised that this happened, but we still learned some very important information. For today, David's team said they want a speedy trial. They actually want to go to trial in 60 days. Well, listen, I know defendants have a right to a speedy trial, but 60 days is crazy. I don't even think you would have enough time for your lawyer to prepare for an actual trial and go through all of the court hearings that have to happen before trial. That doesn't mean that's going to happen, but I think it's crazy that they are standing firm on that and they are arguing that. Not only were prosecutors saying that they have tons of digital evidence, they also came out and said that David's phone had a lot of 𝗍 videos on it. It was like, ooh boy. Now, we do not know if these videos are of Celeste or some of the other girls who have recently come forward alleging that they had a relationship with David. But I honestly automatically started thinking of the celebrity blind item that has said this for months. Also confirmed in the first search warrant. So after Celeste was found in the LA mansion that 𝗍𝗵𝗆 was hired by the owner, they took phones, tablets, and other devices during those raids. Search warrants were also served on David's devices when he was arrested. Also confirmed that they had David's phone wiretapped since last year. Now, it seems like prosecutors are saying that they have not reviewed all of this information on the actual wiretap, but it seems like they have a lot of information from that wiretap, but they still need to review it all. Basically, the argument with all of these different pieces of evidence coming into play and them saying they have a lot of digital evidence is why the judge ended up siding with the prosecution to push his preliminary hearing till the 1st of May. They also confirmed that there were 3 separate grand juries, which to me proves even more that they were probably investigative grand juries that convened in November, December, and February. Also, the prosecutor did say that they should have a significant amount of evidence by next week to turn over to David's team. On April 29th, before the preliminary hearing, they're actually going to do a status conference where they go over all the evidence that was submitted to make sure that they can do the preliminary hearing on May 1st. But I assume that that is plenty enough time for prosecutors to get this evidence going, and the preliminary hearing is probably going to happen for sure on May 1st. Now, I did want to just go ahead and go over some of these news articles that were there at the court proceedings since no cameras were allowed during this. This is NBC News, who said
I am actually shook. They're asking to go to trial in 60 days. It's true. How could they even go through that much? 40 terabytes? You know that I heard a clip that was saying something like she's charging like something $1,000 an hour. It was like they estimated he's paying a week $135,000 to his defense a week. So that's probably why they want a speedy trial. But how do you, and if you have numerous people in a law firm working on that, like the whole law firm, you know, I'm sure they have other cases, but that's a lot. That's a lot, and that's fast. Hello, Sarah.
David possessed a significant amount of 𝗍𝗶 images on an iCloud storage account. I did find this part because it says images different because I've seen some reports that do say videos. Beth Silverman said that there was an enormous amount of material in the case file and it's taken a long time to upload. She said that David's iCloud account alone had 8 terabytes of data and that only 1 terabyte so far has been downloaded. Silverman told the court that there is a significant amount of 𝗍𝗶 images on the iCloud account belonging to David Burke. It's unclear how much of the 8 terabytes of data on the account are 𝗍𝗶 content. Prosecutors noted the protocol prevents them from turning over the sensitive images, but the defense attorney can view the data at a clean computer in the Justice Center. Evidence in the case requires motions to be unsealed, including a wiretap and a grand jury testimony. There were also 20 to 30 terabytes of raw data from numerous digital devices that the district attorney's office said it is trying to transfer onto drives for David's team. Yeah, so this is all the main information that we got from David.
Isn't that wild? Her name is Kadisha Lynn. You guys go sub up. I will drop her in the description as well, per usual. He's such a dummy. He said the internet raised him. He meant that 60 days is crazy. BK's attorney made $2 million. Is a lot. It's a lot. We just went over it. I think it was like something million photos. I'm really wondering if it's just Celeste on there or other victims aside from the girls he groomed, if you know what I'm saying. I'm wondering how deep this ran. Okay, let's do another clip.
Was charged with murder and the death of a 14-year-old girl. The judge set a preliminary trial date for May 1st as prosecutors revealed more details in their investigation. KTLA's Jennifer McGraw live for us in downtown LA with the very latest. Jen, good morning.
Hi, Megan. Good morning. Yeah, David came into court in an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs. Prosecutors say there is so much evidence that both the prosecution and the defense need more time. So that's why they set the date of May 1st. Now, we are learning new details, disturbing details this morning in regards to this investigation. Investigators have alleged that they've uncovered child pornography on the suspect's phone. And some of the other evidence includes wiretaps, grand jury transcripts, police body cam footage, forensic evidence, and property and vehicle reports, and of course the autopsy info. The LA County Medical Examiner confirms Celeste Rivas Hernandez died from what's described as multiple penetrating injuries, and her death has been ruled a homicide. The 26-page report details gruesome injuries after finding her remains last September inside a Tesla linked to David Anthony Burke, who simply goes by David. Investigators say Celeste was last seen on April 23rd of last year. David has pleaded not guilty, and legal analysts say what matters now is whether prosecutors can directly tie those injuries to the defendant.
Unless more information is revealed and we learn more from the police reports, the prosecution is still going to have to show that it was David that was holding whatever that weapon is and inflicted those injuries.
I think I'm gonna agree to disagree here. Like I believe half of that, but I think they have Beth Silverman, from what I heard in a lot of reviews today from the preliminary hearing that there was no cameras allowed. She was very confident. And I've heard that numerous times already. And I think that they're set. I'm not worried about the prosecution having enough
The
evidence.
case has drawn added attention because of David's 2022 breakout song entitled Romantic Homicide. Prosecutors allege the 21-year-old killed the 14-year-old because she threatened to expose what they describe as an illegal sexual relationship with a minor. Now, David faces some serious charges. He will be back in court in LA here on May 1st, and he could seek the death penalty. That's very latest. We're live in downtown Los Angeles.
That's just absolutely wild. 60 days is not a long time for a trial like this to start. I'm actually really surprised. Before we get into Joseph Scott Morgan, I believe, did a video on the autopsy that we reviewed yesterday, which was very brutal. I want to go over a clip of that. But before I do, I want to show this TMZ clip. David celebrated new music days after killing Celeste. It's a 38-second clip. And then another one that I found that I just kind of wanted to share. Yeah, we're going to cover the preliminary hearing updates, but I also want to dive deep into some stuff I found online, like videos and interviews with David. So this clip is from TMZ. Allegedly he dropped music, and we know he put a CD out after killing Celeste, allegedly. So it's creepy. It's creepy when you think he was doing all of this after having just committed something so brutal. It's really sick. So it says, apparently there's no sound on this. He put up a sign. He's celebrating my album drops tomorrow. Oh, okay. Wow, this was a few days after he allegedly unalived her. I do want to point out that I don't know why he's doing that. He's a creep. I do want to point out that gross, no remorse, no remorse, no remorse. That's the scary part. People were saying that in court today when they were at the preliminary hearing with him, that there was a lot of dark energy. I saw some girl give an interview and she was like, honestly, I don't even know that I want to come back to another one. And I was like, whoa. She said that it was very heavy in there and that he is as scary as he looks. So my heart goes out to all of those people. This is a video that he posted. And I wasn't very impressed with this because, excuse me, look at how he's acting with these weapons. Is that not like really creepy? I know it's like, I don't know what you call this. It says, my next cosplay will be Ice Spice. Hashtag D4VD. I don't get it. It was after Celeste's murder, though, allegedly. I know. That's a little bit disturbing, ain't it? Okay, and the next one, I know. We're like, okay, is that supposed to be cool? Who even listened to D4VD? I didn't until I heard about this case. I'll just be honest. We did go over the lyrics yesterday that I showed you guys we covered the Celeste lyrics. Let's go over those really quickly. You guys can go listen. I got copyright. I played a video with no sound on One More Dance. Okay, so write these down if you haven't already. Well, I don't want to give him the views, but I don't know, it's kind of worth it. One More Dance, he makes a music video where he puts a body in the trunk. So we need to look at that exact date. And then he has Romantic Homicide. And then he has an unreleased song titled Celeste. So we did go over those, but they were on my to-do list to kind of go over because the Celeste one is actually really creepy. These are the lyrics, very short, but it says, so this is what it's like to not need weed to get me high. I love it when you hold me, when you cry, just because. Be my Valentine. I want to make Cupid suicidal. These are the kind of thoughts that cross my mind. Just because. I love you so much. I love you so much. Darling, I would love to ease your mind, but you only open up when you get high. If I had the money, I would buy us time just to get by, just to stay high. He says, oh, Celeste, the girl with my name tattooed on her chest. Smell her on my clothes like cigarettes. I hear her voice each time I take a breath. I'm obsessed. Oh, Celeste, afraid you'll only love me when undressed, but you look so damn gorgeous in that dress. Missing you so much makes me depressed, but I digress because I love you so much, baby. Now, I don't know who which Celeste, because allegedly there's two of them that he was dating. ChatGPT, write that? Yeah, I'm not impressed with that, but you guys can go listen to the song and the video on your own if you want to give him the view. That's all up to you. But let's look at Romantic Homicide lyrics real quick. So he says, I'm scared. I feel like you don't care. Enlighten me, my dear. This song, it's really short as well. Enlighten me, my dear. Why am I still here? I don't mean to be complacent with the decisions you made, but why? In the back of my mind, you died, and I didn't even cry. No, not a single tear, and I'm sick of waiting patiently for someone that won't even arrive. In the back of my mind, I killed you and didn't even regret it. I can't believe I said it, but it's true. I hate you. So very dark lyrics. Very. Let's move on to this clip. Allegedly, Celeste's brother had made a statement back in 2025 that they had reported him to police and that there wasn't enough evidence for them to, I guess, charge David. I don't know if that's true. I would probably have to go look on like SF Investigates to see about that. But I believe it. I believe that happened. Although maybe in the past lives, I can't remember. Maybe there's a whole playlist. But there's text messages, I guess, that should prove. It's a 1-minute clip that I want to go over. Yeah, it could be, right? Yeah, that they didn't have enough information or evidence on him or whatever to charge him. And he's a celebrity with a lot of money, so I'm sure they really thought about it. But if so, does that kind of mean like, oh, well, because you couldn't charge him, then he killed her? So I don't know. I'm just saying. So let's go play that clip real quick. This is what the brother allegedly texted. Wait, this is the second. Why am I not able to hear the sound? Can you guys hear that? I can't hear it. Is there not sound maybe? Let me see. Let me play another video. Oh yeah, maybe there's no sound. My bad. I'm like, I can't hear it, but my other video was playing. So he says, Dude, why does David follow you? All respect to your sister, and I hate how shitty people are. Was it really him? Jesus, all love, man. He says, yeah, it was him because he found my account out of nowhere and followed me. The person responds with, fuck, well, he has it coming. That's wild, just randomly. Did you ever talk to him? I think Celeste brother says, I met him once in person. The friend responds with, did you and your family know of your sister being with him? Like she was living with him. All of that shit is confusing and disgusting. He says, I knew and we went to the police about it, but lack of evidence. So it was waved off. The friend says, bullshit. Now there's 1,000 people backing you up. That won't happen again. But if they had listened, allegedly her brother responds with, even if they don't do anything, they haven't even done anything towards him. The friend says, that's how it was with celebrities. Just look at effing Diddy. They don't do shit. The brother says, I know it. Effing sucks. The friend says, effing crazy. People suffer for it. How long has she been gone? The brother says, dead? ? 2 weeks. The friend says, damn, that's soon. People have been saying like a month. The dude's a weirdo. His songs all have weird messages and imagery. What do you think happened? Like, he just didn't want her to expose him being with her. The brother allegedly responds with, I don't know. The friend says, damn, was your sister in love with him and choosing to stay? I'm guessing it was all him just manipulating her. He says, yeah, she was always saying that he was waiting till she was 15 or 18 to get married and stuff like that. The friend says, effing sick. What's crazy is all of those people in his circle who knew and didn't say shit. I saw one guy get sued by him. I'm sure you would have too if you kept pushing. The brother says, dang, what? I never knew that. My sister wouldn't say anything ever. The dude says, dude, there is so much shit in that Discord he has. The brother says, WTF, there's a Discord. The friend says, yeah, it was just the fan Discord and stuff. It wasn't, sorry, I'm trying to read. It wasn't, I wasn't in it, obviously, but from what I know, he was decently active in it. And some screenshots and screen recordings were posted today and yesterday after the news showed one guy saying this, and he sends a screenshot. Unfortunately, I can't see it. And he says 95% sure it's legit someone who was in the server before it was locked, screen recorded, then looking up this message and it wasn't edited or anything. The brother says, WTF, no effing way, dude. Please send me more if you know, dude. The friend says, I got you, bro. Let me first find everything that's been posted. That's why I said so many people were after David. Now after this, they have found so much evidence to back this shit up. The brother says, dude, I never knew this shit. The friend says, only a small number of people were aware until today. The brother says, I wish I would have known. I wish I would have known. I could have used this. The friend says, you didn't have your sister added on Discord, right? The brother says, I didn't even have a Discord. The friend says, yeah, I was just seeing because someone took a screenshot of her account, supposedly. He sends him a screenshot. Oh, 5. Oh, he sends him a ton of pics, which we can't really see because they're little. But we've seen him in other lives. And we saw the video where he's like, oh, you grape children. And he's like, delete it. So then he says, the friend says, are those photos her? And that song was unreleased. David saying, apparently, sends a video. And then he says, here's the video just proving these messages are real and stuff. And Celeste's brother responds with, yes. The friend says, do you know of any of your sister's Instagram accounts? There are some messages people said were her messaging friends, but not really confirmed yet. And he sends screenshots and pictures and videos. The brother says, "That's my sister, dog." The friend says, "F, it is." He sends more. "You think this is real?" The brother says, "Yes, I do. I knew who Gus is. He's dead." The friend says, "What happened?" Celeste's brother says, "He got shot up dead." The friend says, "You think by David or just some other shit?" The brother says, "Other shit." So allegedly that was a thread from 2025. I had not read that, but I thought that was fairly interesting and it was worth sharing. So a brother blaming himself. Well, my concern, I'm not you know, like I said yesterday, I don't want to say anything about the family until, you know, trial or whatever, but I do feel, you know, I'm wondering if they would have been able to have charged him that early on, would Celeste still be here? I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts here, but let's go before I go into some dark pictures that I want to share. Let's play the clip about the autopsy with Joseph Scott Morgan and Lauren Conlon. I think they do amazing together and I really, really want to cover this. So let's watch that real quick.
I'm Lauren Conlon, and I am here with death investigator Joe Scott Morgan, also the host of Body Bags on YouTube, and you can find that show wherever you get your podcasts. It was very important to me when Celeste Rivas Hernandez's autopsy was released. It was really important to me to speak to Joe so he could break things down for us. Joe, thank you so much for being here.
Of course, yeah. You bet, Lauren. It's always a pleasure to talk to you.
Well, thank you. You know, now we know that her cause of death is listed by 2 penetration wounds, I believe is what the term is, which is stab wounds, essentially.
Yes.
Just overall, how bad was this autopsy report? From, you know, you read a lot of these, you do this for a living. How bad was this?
Okay. Well, first off, the autopsy report was good, technically.
Sorry, if you know what I mean, like.
No. I know what you're saying. I just.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. But what we discovered, and there's a lot to learn from this. What we discovered is our worst thoughts have come to fruition here relative to, you know, what happened to this child. I want to hang on that word.
Yeah.
I agree with that. You guys, when we read the full autopsy, we read it here yesterday. I read the whole thing. You already know. It was brutal. It's brutal. I just want to know where her other 2 fingers are. Hey, Cuffy, good to see you. It's horrible. Yeah, it is. This is Lauren Conlon. I love her. I'm fangirl of her. And then also Joseph Scott Morgan, who is also, he's like a medical examiner, I think, right?
This is a child. And yeah, you're right, Lauren. She's got 2 penetrating injuries. Okay. Now I know that some people, there's going to be a massive confusion, but if I can just lay this out so people will understand, because you've got a sharp instrument that has been used. Okay. It's non-specific. They don't say. They talk about how the margins are kind of clean on both of these injuries. They sound like stab wounds, okay, from what they're saying. Now, what areas of the body do they affect? Okay, well, so if everybody will find the intercostal space on the left side of their body, okay, so, and this is the left lateral chest. So the intercostal space is between each rib. So if you've ever worked out and you've pulled an intercostal muscle, it's one of the most painful things you can. So this blade, which I think it was, passed through that in between 2 ribs. I've got more to say about that in a second.
Oh my God, that's awful. When you do it like that. Okay, sorry, continue.
No, it's right there. I just want folks to understand, because this autopsy report is very disorienting. This is like if you were to try to do this like in tears. This is pro-level autopsy because of decomposition. And so you really have to follow this very carefully. So switching to the other injury, if people will find their rib cage on the right-hand side, and where it ends. Okay.
Remember the autopsy yesterday said that they couldn't, her face, she couldn't be identified. She had to be identified with dental records because of the decomp. And she was missing, her left eye was absent. My fear is she was tortured. And I'm wondering if maybe they have evidence of that on the 10 to 40 terabytes of data that they have.
So you can feel that kind of hard margin down at the bottom.
Yeah.
You go below that, you're right on top of your liver right there. That's where the other insult went in. Why is that important? Well, it's important because probably next to the brain, the liver is the most vascular organ in the body. Okay. So that means that it's got a lot of vessels running through it. And Lauren, I got to tell you, if that's the 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆𝗆, all right, this was not a quick death.
Oh,
Okay. Because if that's
it was not a quick death, meaning she suffered.
the only fatal injury, and again, it's kind of hard to tell because of decomposition. This would be a bleed out injury where she would have bled into her, well, obviously into the surrounding tissue around the liver, but also into her abdomen. What
did they do with all that blood, the cleanup? Oh my God.
Left injury, the left injury, it says that it does not track into the lung. It just kind of penetrates through that intercostal space. However, a clue here, though, and what's going to be very, very important moving forward, is that they talk about this instrument communicated with one of the ribs, and the language is kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that there may have been a tool mark left on one of the ribs. Now, why is that important? It's important because at autopsy, if they remove that rib and retained it, and we can clean that up, we can clean the rib up, that would be handed over to the crime lab and to their tool mark section. Because right now, we don't know a weapon. However, guess what they can do? If there's a mark on that rib, they can go in there in the gross sense, and I don't mean like, ooh, gross. I mean like gross means in our world, like visually examine something.
Mm-hmm.
Then they'll put it under a microscope, and they'll look for little ridges and indentations on the edge of that rib.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what they can do? They can at least they can do two things. They can say, okay, this was either a standard knife or it was a serrated edge. Then they can get in there and do a measurement of how the dimensions of the blade, like just the base width. Even though you look at a knife blade, all blades are set up different. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of information right there. I think, I don't necessarily have proof of it, but it is the way things are commonly handled. And going back to my earlier statement about
I wonder, they haven't said they have the weapon. Horrified she was just a baby, bless her heart. I'm horrified too. I am. I really am.
Confusion among the public that'll be reading this autopsy report. It's very, very important that you guys kind of take your time when you're reading it, because it's going to be passed around. Everybody will see it. The injuries, post-mortem injuries she sustained as a result of dismemberment they should not be confused with the knife injuries, and it's not the same instrument. They're talking about you've got one that is 9 inches below the top of the shoulder, which means, and then the other one is 6 inches, which to me indicates that this is a sign of somebody that has no anatomical training. Right. It's done, I wouldn't say in a fevered manner, but it's a very highly disorganized, because you're going into what's referred to as mid shaft. And that's the toughest thing to do, particularly if you don't have the right tools, because
sorry to interrupt you, to tell what tools were used to dismember or sever the limbs?
Good question.
Oh my
So
god.
they're saying that the surfaces of both the
You guys, where are her fingers? This is so scary.
soft tissue and the bone are, I can't remember if they use the term smooth or not, but they're very ordered.
Okay.
Well, not being able to see the bone and not knowing what else they may have done, because I think they probably, at least I would have, taken a section of that bone, right where this cutting tool went through on both sides, both the part that's still connected to the torso and the part that's not. And again, back to the tool mark section, they can get an idea. So if you think about butchery, if you've ever seen
Butchery.
if you've ever seen like a ham, I hate to say this, but just so people understand, if you've ever seen a bone that passes through like a spiral cut ham and there's that ring of bone, I ask everybody to take a look at the bone the next time.
Look at Lauren. She's in the same, that's foul.
You see it, and you'll see these little kind of swirls on the bone. You know what that's indicative of? A power tool. It's not like a saw. It's like something that's moving at a high rate of speed. So that's something that they would be looking at as well, because, you know, there's been a lot of questions that we've heard. I can't remember Steve's last name, the PI. That was,
yeah.
Good guy, by the way. I've been on air with him a couple of times. You know, Steve, this is not Morgan saying this, this is Steve saying this. He said that they found a chainsaw, but the chainsaw had never been used. I remember asking Steve, I was like, oh, so you live in a Hollywood, anybody live in a Hollywood Hills renting a home, they're going to do their own gardening? And he's like, no, they're not.
There was so much about that, but the counter that people.
Oh man. What did he use? I doubt it was a hand knife to chop her limbs off.
Were saying, and I really couldn't believe it. They're like, oh, well, David uses that for his music videos. I'm just like, you could say that about anything. Like, that was literally the counter. I mean, and
does he use burn cages as well?
That's exactly what was said to me.
So with that burn cage found, he was going to burn her remains. And he didn't get to because someone chickened out, or someone meant for him to be caught, or he's really just dumb for leaving a body in his trunk, right?
Me in the comments section when I brought this up too, whatever. You know, I've been waiting to ask you this. Anything about this, and even when I threw the autopsy.
Yeah, you guys don't forget. I know it's been a while. It's been 7 months. We've been waiting for justice for Celeste, but they found a burn cage in his house. Was it off Amazon? I don't remember, but they did.
Autopsy and my friend Claude here. No traces, no mentions that her body was ever frozen and thawed, right? Like that is.
Yeah, they're not saying anything about that. And the histology, I think, is something that would reveal that. And I don't know what they would have to go on now because the body's in such an advanced stage. Did you know that when bodies are frozen and then thawed, there is a cellular reaction that forensic pathologists, when they're looking through the microscope at those little sections that we take at autopsies, you can see a change. There's these spaces that are created as a result of freezing in the dead. And nothing has been mentioned of that. Now, maybe more to come. There might be another technical report. I don't know that. It's certainly something that needs to be explored. Going back to Steve even mentioned that there was a freezer there, and that he didn't see anything in there. And
oh wait, sorry, you broke up. What was it? You said there's a freezer there.
Yeah, there. If I remember correctly, Steve had alluded to the fact that there was a freezer there. I don't know if it's like a deep freeze that you would see at your grandma's house, where the lid, you know, kind of lifts up and that sort of thing. Or they can have stand up deep freezes as well. But Steve says that he's a great guy, but he's not a criminalist. So I don't know if they retained that and did trace evidence on it. Here's one other thing that's very well, it's fascinating and it's a bit puzzling. There's two pieces. First off, let me get to the first one, the bit of irony here.
Yeah.
When I read through this autopsy report, Lauren, in all of my years of working in New Orleans with the coroner, Atlanta with the ME, and then teaching and all this, you know what I've never encountered? You know what I've never encountered? I've never encountered someone looking for trace evidence on a body bag.
What do you mean trace evidence on a body bag exactly?
That's detailed. They actually did swabbings on the handles of this body.
Remember, I said yesterday when we went through that, I said, I bet you maybe they have his fingerprints on the body bag. We showed the body bag that he bought here yesterday.
Bag that her body was contained in. So they're looking for DNA deposition. A body bag.
This before, and not that it's about me, sorry, but that's what I thought, and I don't know anything about those type of investigations. I thought for sure there would be DNA all over that bag, and
they're looking for it. I don't know that they have it, and they retain that. Okay, so let me tell you what it says.
Yeah,
a standard, and they described this thing, you know, in that earlier report that came out, what was it, like a month and a half ago, where they were having that hearing, they referred to a cadaver bag, and I'm thinking, who the hell says cadaver bag? Because it's just not something, you know, that I use, that you use in the industry. But just so you understand, if you've never seen an actual body bag, this large black body bag that they're talking about, and they describe it to a T, it's the same kind of bag you would have at a coroner or medical examiner's office. First off, I'm wondering, how many body bags does he have? Does he have a couple back on the back shelf? And I'm sure that people say, you don't understand, he's an artist and he has these in his, you know, very soulful videos.
Yeah.
It's creepy, guys. It's creepy.
He's got a body bag and there's a child's body in it.
Ugh.
Period, end of paragraph. I don't care about his creativity.
Exactly.
Okay, so back to the body bag.
Like, whether or not you use it for your videos, this is not a video. There is a child.
No, this is reality.
So,
you know? Yeah. So the body bag has 6 handles, and they're nylon, and they're rather coarse.
So this is what he's talking about. This is the body bag. Yep. It's disturbing as hell, actually. Yeah. I don't know about that, guys.
So they've gone around and they've swabbed each one of these handles. They've also swabbed the zipper on the body bag. Now, whether or not that will produce any kind of molecular evidence, you know, for DNA, and, you know, who's to say that somebody didn't wear gloves? I don't know if they did or not when they're moving this about. But
we don't know anything anymore. When you leave this in your own car, registered to yourself, after all that, we're going to assume that maybe you're dumb and those around you are dumber.
Yeah. Here's my thing. In addition to never having heard of a body bag being swabbed for something, which they did, and that's cool because it's part of it, I've never come across a case in my memory where the DA is saying, okay, she disappeared and died due to luring on the 23rd.
I know.
And then they're saying that she was dismembered on the 5th.
So where did he keep her from the 23rd to the 5th?
But wait,
May.
This is the first page. You saw this, right? It says date of injury unknown. This is the 3rd line down right here.
Yes.
Okay.
And that's coming from the ME, because this document is not generated by the prosecutor. They know something that I think, and again, you know, people have said, well, they've got the electronics. I got to tell you, my money right now, I don't know it, but my money right now is somebody's rolling over on this. Somebody has made some kind of statement. They made some kind of comment, because this is very specific information. But here's the problem, Lauren, and it's a problem, but it's also, it has value for us forensically. If she died on the 23rd, all right, and she's not dismembered until the 5th of May.
Oh my God. So her body was still whole. What the hell was he doing with her body?
Something has to be done with the body. So that's where I think insects are going to come in here. And you're going to hear, I think in this case, you're going to hear a lot about forensic entomology, which is the study of insects. Because within, I'd say probably within, I've had
so she was in the Tesla, maybe in the back seat or the trunk, her body's still intact, or at his house somewhere. Right? She's still whole here. Remember, he hasn't dismembered her yet.
I've had egg deposition. Of course, this is in South Louisiana, New Orleans area, which is very austere, the environment. I've had egg deposition within 3 hours in the eyes and the mouth of death with an exposed body. I don't know that it would happen that quickly, but we're talking almost 2 weeks where she's intact, according to what the DA is saying. So what happened to the body in that 2-week period? Was she always in the, I hate saying this word, was she always in the frunk?
I know.
Or was she migrated about that property at that rental? And if she was, there would be evidence of generational development of flies. And so what does that mean? Well, flies go through a particular stages, multiple stages. You have maggot, and as maggot matured, they develop these translucent husk, and they shed them, and that they continue on in their development to a mature fly. Well, when they shed these things, flies don't clean up after themselves. They leave these husks around, and their life cycle is like 16 to 32 days. All right, that's the maggots, and that's also the flies. Flies are not going to live beyond that. So they have multiple generations. An entomologist can tell you how many generations, and they can mark that with time.
Oh, wow.
And there have been 2 big reveals here, kind of.
Yes, because the autopsy yesterday said that they bagged the insects up so that they could go test them or whatever they do. Hi, Karma. Good to see you, love. Yes, this is disturbing AF, you guys. My heart breaks for Celeste. Wow.
Relative to insect activity, nothing that ties to the scene. However, in that earlier document that was at that hearing, they talk about when they opened the hood of this thing, the bag was covered in insects.
And
now,
or something.
And now when you read the autopsy report, they go on and they say there is, insect activity here. So I would be surprised
if that guy, monster, man thing, was demon thing, had her body in his room. That's it. I can't.
Surprised if they did not do collections, on her in the car, because you could have, I don't care how tight you might think the lid or the hood or the whatever it is, the bonnet, as the British say, or the boot on this frunk is, flies always find a way. So you'll have multi-generational development in there. And then I'm wondering if anything is at the scene, or I say the scene at the rental.
Yeah. I mean, so I guess that is a great point. Maybe we will find out. I did talk to the homeowner at one point, and he said he would check in on the home and it was spotless. Nothing was ever out of place. Everything. I mean, I don't know what that means, but I'm wondering now, is David so good at cleaning up that there's no trace of her blood inside his home? Because that's where I'm assuming she was allegedly killed. That's number one. Number two, I mean, if she bled out, which is awful, like what?
I think that, well, in my experience with,
You guys, I don't know, but I think he had help too. Yeah, La Carva says someone helped. Evie said he didn't do this alone. Will says he had help attempting to dispose the body for sure. And that person chickened out. So they abandoned the Tesla. Could it be?
this kind of injury, there,
Or maybe they
believe it or not,
somehow
there is
set it up for him to be caught.
a possibility that you would only have a marginal amount of blood outside of the body. Most of the time when you get an insult to the liver, you die of internal bleeding. So, you know, when immediately after this happened, and, you know, God rest her soul, when Celeste died, her abdomen would have been filled with blood because of this insult to the liver. Because, like I said, it's so vascular. That's why, like, if and over the course of my career, I've worked a lot of fatal liver injuries, and they involve gunshot wounds, stab wounds. Motor vehicle accidents are a big blunt force trauma. I've had people that have been kicked in the liver, and forensic pathologists don't refer to it as a. They actually, it's the one organ in the body they use the term fracturing. They'll say that there is a liver fracture. Isn't that fascinating? Because of the way the liver is made up, it'll spiderweb kind of with blunt force impact. Now, we don't have that here. We have sharp force injury, but still that blood's got to go somewhere. And you've only got this tiny little slit. Let's just say that she's laying on her back. And
that's the thing. La Karma says, was she dry of blood? Yeah, I mean, she had to have been, because they didn't say in the autopsy. Well, maybe it would be in the evidence report or exhibits that, you know, there was blood in everywhere, but it just said bodily fluids. So where did all her blood go? They like drained her blood or what? Or at the crime scene where they stabbed, or where he stabbed her. There's a lot here.
in the immediate,
answered.
that blood seeps into the abdomen, and you would have it there. And then her little body was manipulated so much.
Thank you. Pickles says, thoughts and prayers for young girl. She didn't deserve none of this. I know. She was groomed and just landed in the hands of this evil, monstrous thing. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate you.
It's being migrated around. And oh, by the way, dismemberment takes place.
Yeah. And let me just ask you this, because we only have a few minutes left.
Yeah, sure.
Just because we have a hard stop here. So overall, I just want to ask you, I mean, you had said like this was a very thorough, good autopsy report, especially for what they were working with. And I think many of us were very surprised that they had so much information. I'm glad to hear that from you. Number two, you know, just talking about the dismemberment and some of the amputations from, you know, pinky fingers and whatnot. It would be easier to amputate when the body is heavily decomposing, I'm assuming.
Yes.
And also, it sounds like she also had clothes on at the same time that he was doing it. So again, I go back to, okay, so he allegedly dismembered her with clothes on. A couple weeks later, it's much easier. He takes off her fingers. And then my last question is the tox report.
Wow.
It's like very inconclusive. At first, they test positive for MDMA, inconclusive on methamphetamine. Then it's no, you know, it's like, I don't understand.
And benzos as well.
Okay. Yeah.
They got a hit on those, which is like anti-anxiety medication. And they're coming back now where they're saying no. By the way, I know
he drugged her. I know it. I feel that he gave her drugs.
That with all of your fans, they're well read. They're going to see ethanol too, which means alcohol.
Yeah.
Ethanol is a product of decomposition. So anytime I see that come back on a tox report in a body that is so in an advanced state of decomposition, I don't assign a lot of validity to that, because the body produces ethanol.
Yeah.
And you know, other things as well. So that'll put you off scent really quick, I think. There's an interesting thing about one little detail about the dismemberment, and they collected this, and there are these little blue bits of plastic
Yeah.
embedded in these insults to the body. And the criminalist was physically there, I think, if I remember correctly, at the autopsy, and they're collecting these. I don't understand origin there, and I'm sure that we'll eventually figure this out, but they've collected these, what they're going to do with that plastic, because that plastic is trace evidence.
Oh.
I actually had somebody, this is not me saying this, I actually had somebody say, well, maybe they used a 3D instrument that was made out of plastic and it sheared or something. I'm thinking,
No, I think they put her, maybe, I was thinking maybe she was frozen, but the autopsy didn't say that.
maybe, but this is something that's very, whatever they used is rather robust.
3D weapons are a thing though now. I mean,
They are, but
yeah.
I'm leaning more into a mechanical or electronic device or electrical device as opposed to grandpa's handsaw here.
Yeah.
And so, but where are these blue remnants coming from? It's very disordered as to the hand, and I saw that as well. Some people said, "Oh, he's taking a trophy." No, that's not a trophy. That's infantile behavior because they don't know what to do. So they may have started off there and they're thinking, "Oh, okay, I can do this," and it's kind of a test run, I think. And then, or maybe they're trying to figure out a way to configure the body so they can make it compact. But at the end of the day, whoever did this, I don't know if it's this kid, well, grown man.
Yeah.
Why in the hell are you going to go to this trouble and still retain the body?
We have been saying this for forever. You go through all this trouble and you keep it in your own car, you idiot. You idiot. It makes no
sense. Someone set him up. Someone couldn't, maybe like chemicals.
sense, and that is where I'm at. But Joe Scott, obviously I could stay on with you forever.
Yeah,
and
my pleasure.
No, I really appreciate your insight. So I'll have to get you back.
Please, yeah, I'm available anytime.
Okay, well, you're available. I mean, you're so busy that I feel guilty, like always bothering you. But okay.
No, it's not.
Okay, good. Well, thank you so much.
I love them both so much. That's Lauren Conlon and Joe Scott Morgan. We had to cover that in full. It's too good. It's so educational. They're great. He's great. I'm terrified of what Celeste went through. Poor girl. That's the strangest part. They got scared. Yeah. To get into her phone, finger unlock. I wouldn't put it past that these guys had a third weapon. And he was being wiretapped. They were tapping his phone or something. Okay, I have two short clips. One more is from the family reaction, and then I want to go into some pictures on X that are bloody from allegedly some music videos and whatnot. So let's watch this clip that just came out.
Charged with the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the LA County Medical Examiner is releasing the official report on her death.
And Mark Robles joins us now live at the studio tonight with new reaction from the girl's family. Mark?
Yeah, David and Giovanna, the details are deeply disturbing. This medical examiner's report, unsealed by the court, confirms 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was stabbed to death. The official cause of death listed as multiple penetrating injuries. One stab wound on her left chest, the second on her right side, and injured her liver. The report describes her body weighing 71 pounds as badly decomposed and severely dismembered. We're also learning some of her fingers were even mutilated. We spoke to a former investigator who has assisted in more than 20,000 autopsies. He explained why this report was likely a difficult one.
The condition of her body, how she was presented, it causes a lot of problems because of the condition of her body. It's a lot of tissue, it's decomposed, so you really can't collect what you want in an ordinary autopsy.
Despite that, prosecutors say they believe they have the evidence that connects David to her death. The singer was charged Monday with murder, mutilation of remains, and continuous sexual abuse of a child under 14. He pleaded not guilty. Regarding the autopsy results, the chief medical examiner said in a statement that making the information publicly available is not just about accountability, it's also about social justice and prevention. The family of Rivas Hernandez also releasing a statement this afternoon saying that the findings have caused profound emotional pain. Live here in studio, 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆𝗆, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Mark, thank you. Well, this case has taken a lot of twists and turns to get to this point, and Eyewitness News has been tracking it every step of the way. We have it laid out for you by date and by location. So we start right over here, Lake Elsinore. In April 2024, then 13-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez was first reported missing. Then about a year later, right over here, this is April 23rd, 2025. In Hollywood, David invites Celeste to his home, after which that she was never seen again. That's according to LA County District Attorney Nathan Hochman. And the DA says she was killed right then. David then goes off to tour in August. And then we take you right over here, September 8th, 2025. Last year, the teen remains were found inside that Tesla at a Hollywood tow yard. Herein lies the entire case. Giovanna?
David, thank you. All of the recent developments bringing David's rising star to an abrupt fall. But before this case came down, his music career was just taking off.
Okay, I'm gonna stop that there because music, copyright, but you get the gist. Thank you, Rudy, for being a member for 4 months. I appreciate you. Yeah, he went on tour, made a whole CD, made videos after the death of Celeste, after killing her. Because that's what he did, you guys. That's exactly what he did. Okay, so there are some posts before we go to a short clip that I wanted to share, but I did want to share this post here. This was posted by SF Investigates, who is in the courtroom as well, as I mentioned. It says David posted this day, the day he murdered Celeste. Could her blood be on these shirts? And this was allegedly a prop for his music video, which is sick. Absolutely sick. Wow. Very disturbing. Very disturbing. So I just wanted to share that with you guys really quick. I'm terrified. But I also wanted to, I think I had already shown you guys this, but let's go over it really quick. Allegedly, now he has been, this was when he was transferred to the men's central jail. He is now in the same jail as Nick Reiner. So I believe it's one of the more dangerous ones too. This is a clip real quick. We'll replay this. I did play this yesterday, but since we're talking about this, we might as well cover it one more time.
I media trained you. No, you didn't. That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
That's Celeste. She said it's controversial of graping kids.
Really good.
Okay,
it's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything. I media trained you.
No, you didn't.
That's controversial.
It's controversial of kids.
Wow.
Really good.
Okay,
it's been a good one. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Mwah, 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 mwah. Oh my. Delete everything. Delete everything. Everything goes. Everything goes. Everything.
That's disturbing. He says, I media trained you. He groomed her is what he's saying. The video of him cleaning the shoes, you make a good point, Evie. That was it was a video, I think, of him outside his house doing that. But now I have questions when that was. We would have to go back and look, because was it the day he allegedly killed her? This is from SF Investigates. This is the timeline I put together covering the period just before it is alleged that David unalived Celeste, through the time shortly after it is alleged that he dismembered her body. The timeline is based on recovered and deleted social media posts as well as confirmed public media appearances. It will continue to be updated as additional data is compiled. The sequence appears to show a surge of activity immediately after the alleged murder, followed by a period of relative silence in the days leading up to the alleged dismemberment. On the date it is alleged the dismemberment occurred May 5th, 2025. A social media post places him in downtown Los Angeles around 11 p.m. One of the most significant unanswered questions is where was Celeste's body between April 23rd and May 5th, which we just asked that ourselves in that video with Joe Morgan. What did he do with her full body intact that was intact? The timeline shows that he traveled to New York on April 24th. Within a single day, he would have had to place her body somewhere he later returned to nearly 2 weeks later on May 5th. On May 5th, which was Cinco de Mayo, he posted from downtown Los Angeles. A chow mein truck visible in the background can be independently confirmed to have been operating in that area on that date. Photographic evidence shows that David and Celeste spent time downtown earlier in the year. Is there a connection between downtown Los Angeles and the murder and the storage of the body of Celeste Rivas Hernandez? Someone said shoe video was in February before her death. We'd have to verify. Okay, maybe I'll add that to tomorrow or later tonight, I might make another live of David because there's a couple interviews that are long that I want to go through with you guys. But I wanted to make sure we went through these important posts on X. And SF Investigates does have a website, I believe. So I'll show you guys really quick, but go and give it a view, go support. It's the timeline of David. So he has it all pinned out correctly. And he's been on this case since day number 1. And he's also in the courtroom. So this is searchinvestigations.org. I'll link it in the description. But that's who created the post that I just read. Okay, let's move on to the next post I wanted to share. So we saw the bloody shirt. Okay. And then we're going to go through a quick interview with D4VD. This right here is David recorded himself having sex with Celeste, by the way. That's why he's being charged with very specific crimes, lewd and lascivious sexual acts when he went on tour and left them computers. It's all in his iCloud, even their argument. He can deny all he wants. So that's just an interesting post that I saw on X, because that's what I said. I said they must have something, by good I mean good enough to put him to go to do all of this, to get him for murder and the death penalty, possible death penalty. We did watch Kadisha Lynn make a video earlier, but I wanted to go ahead and share this one.
David is now being accused of messing with another young girl, and now she has decided to make a statement publicly. This young girl is saying that she was with David at the same exact time that he was with Celeste Rivas Hernandez. She gave a statement and this photo of her and David to a content creator who has been looking into this David case for quite a while now. She is the same girl that I talked about a couple weeks ago that private investigator 𝗶𝗵 came out very publicly and said that he has proof of this minor with David at the same time that he was also with Celeste. So first, before I get into her statement, I do want to read you this post that was made by 𝗶𝗵 before David was arrested or charged for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. At this point in time, about 2 weeks ago, he was getting frustrated, wondering why they had not picked up David yet. And one thing he said that he believed that they should have picked him up on was charges for being with these young girls. And in this post, he said, I have proof that he had an ongoing illegal relationship with another minor at the exact same time he was going with Celeste. This proof includes a statement from the minor and dozens of photos that include the minor and David. Yes, law enforcement is aware of this relationship, and I'm also aware of a third minor. And yeah, you got that right. This private investigator said there's not just one more, there's 2 more. And like I said, this was before.
Can you guys imagine? And if there's content of all of them, Holy.
Everything happened with David, so he wanted to know why charges weren't being filed for this pattern of abuse against minors. He said that he felt like they were acting like it was a homicide or nothing at all. But this is a statement by this young girl that has now been released publicly. She says, "Hi everyone, I know nobody knows who I am, but I was a victim of David Burke. I'm just going to say how happy I am to see him arrested. My identity has remained hidden because I deserve a life outside of the case. I went through a lot with David, and this is all very hard for me. But to see him behind bars brings a smile to my face. I feel safer and more at peace with my life. I appreciate everyone who helped bring me and the other victims to justice. I know things haven't fully been done, but they will be." Mind you, even the media heard of allegations of David being with other minors that they actually asked if David was going to be charged with any other minors at the press conference to the district attorney. Mind you, now we have the private investigator Steve Fisher saying that this minor has went and gave a statement to the cops about her alleged relationship with David and also gave them tons of photos and evidence of it. And now, according to this young girl's own statements, it appears that she believes that she's about to get justice too. I was absolutely sick when I heard about this 2 weeks ago and I did a video on it, but now to actually see that this young girl wanted to come forward and at least give the public a little bit of something saying, hey, this did happen to me, but obviously she doesn't want to reveal who she is because there is a possible ongoing investigation, is really heartbreaking.
That's wild. If it sounds like maybe they do have other information that he's with other minors. It's so disturbing. I wanted to cover this post really quick. This is by Head Navy. It says, "I hope her brother is holding up well. I know he was one of the people who tried to look out for her. He said he went to the police and reported David for being with Celeste, but the police didn't do anything because they said there wasn't enough evidence." And we did go over that video of the text messages with her brother and someone that he knew or was texting with, communicating with. R.I.P. Celeste. Ew. What's going on with him? He looks very, very scary there. It's horrifying what's happened to Celeste. I did play this yesterday as well, the video of the teacher, but I want to go show you guys this one again one more time.
What? Hold up. That's her in my classroom in front of.
So when the Celeste stuff first started coming out in late 2025, this teacher someone recorded the teacher talking about Celeste. He was her teacher when she ran away once.
This poster right here. Okay, hold up. I got another one because I got a picture on TMZ of this other kid exchanging stuff with the rapper who we alleged did this stuff. Hold on a second, because he's also in my classroom.
Wait, how long ago was
this? We all just found out yesterday who it was, but she's been missing since I taught her. So when I taught her, she met this dude on social media. He was a rapper in LA. He came and got her. She ran away from home. She was gone for like a month. The cops found her in Hollywood, brought her back to our school. She came back to our school, kind of told people this story. She disappeared again in May of that year, May of 2024. That's when her friends told me what happened, that it was this rapper, that they were like blackmailing him, all of this stuff. And then I found out yesterday that she's now in that rapper's car. Pieces. You want to know how they met? I feel like I just said it. Social media. Let me tell you another story.
Yeah, I believe there was hush money involved, and I believe there's immunity deals given to some people, and I believe a lot of people knew what was going on. But I guess that's yet to be, that'll come out in trial. Again, we're just touching on what the autopsy said yesterday. Multiple penetrating injuries, amputated, that too. Amputated left ring and pinky fingers, severely decomposed body, head partially skeletonized, left absent eye. If you want the whole reading, the live from yesterday has it all in detail. Just be prepared. I gave you a warning. before we get into, there's an interview. It's like 10 minutes. Let me make sure I went through all the posts. Today, I want to do the deep dive on Reddit with another interview. So I'm going to schedule another live for that. But for now, I do want to show you guys this deleted interview of David. It's a 10-minute interview. But before we do, let's play this clip of him. Get an idea.
What am I making? How am I making it? What's the flows? What's the melodies? I'm a melody person first, and then a structure person second. I'm playing video games like I always do. Yeah, I'm playing Warzone. Velvet, my producer, my main producer, like he sends me all the beats I use when I make music by myself. He was like, "Yo, bro, I got these 3 beats for you." I'm like, "All right, bet. Let me hear 'em." He sends me the beats. I'm listening to them one by one, trying to figure out what I'm feeling today, and it's 2 completely different vibes, bro. So it's like I'm fighting people, and then I'm like trying to put myself in the mindset of like, okay, I gotta make a song today too. So let me like get into that mental state. Falling around me. I played the 3rd one, and the 3rd one was the crashing beat. And I was like, wait, hold on. This sounds like old David. And I love hearing things that remind me of my own music. So essentially, when I heard that beat, it was like, okay, let me take myself back. So I turned off the game, went in the closet, grabbed all my equipment, my Focusrite, my mic interface, everything. What am I making?
What is so cool about him? I don't get it. Am I missing something? I'm just disgusted. But anyways, that was a weird random clip I wanted to share. So it has been continued until May 1st, the next hearing. We know that. We heard that from SF. We've seen his mugshot. Okay. We know that he had a significant amount of child, you know what rhymes with corn, on his devices. And I wanted to show you guys this part. So 40 terabytes. Remember how we were talking about how big is that? Pause. They'd be so normal, yeah. How big is 40 terabytes? Massive storage. It is enough to hold millions of files or years of 24/7 video surveillance. High volume evidence. 40 terabytes can represent immense volumes of legal discovery. Personal computing context. If your phone holds 256 gigabytes, that's 0.256 terabytes. 40 terabytes is roughly 156 times that capacity. Media consumption, it would take over 8,500 hours of 4K streaming to accumulate this much data. And we did see another piece of information that said it was like you could hold millions of photos with that much data. So oh yes, I did want to play this. So this video is by 𝗠𝗲𝗹𝗆𝗆, and it says David would bring a casket, a wreath, and a notepad with pencil for people to write letters to the deceased during his shows while he was on tour. Very disturbed person.
Now, why the fuck would the artist do that?
So this was in July in one of his performances. Look at the casket he has.
I'll love you from the afterlife.
David is really throwing funerals at his show, and I'm just wondering if this was all a sign. How creepy. And he was really talking about Celeste the whole time. Because right by this date, she was already dead and dismembered.
Now, why the fuck would the artist do that?
I'll love you from the afterlife.
I think that's for his song Afterlife. That's so creepy. I never listened to his songs. Me either. I didn't even know who he was until this case, but I have listened to them. I think it's worth sometimes listening to the Celeste one or the Romantic Homicide. I saw this by Lillian London on X, and I don't know that there's any truth behind this, but I figured we'd cover it. It says, I don't understand why the parents tolerated her dating a 20-year-old guy before she met David. She lost her virginity to the 20-year-old guy. The guy got killed during a gang fight. Now, that's just allegedly. I don't know if that's true. I don't know who that other guy is. I don't know if that's a rumor. We have yet to see that from the police or anything such. But I did see that on X and I thought, whoa, if that's also true, that's also crazy. So last but not least, there was a deleted interview that David did with Preston Rokowski back on September 15th, 2025. The creator removed it completely from their channel, and I think it's hard to find the full clip on YouTube, but I did find the full clip. It's like a 10-minute interview, and this is where he talks about what he thinks about love, and I wanted to play it. I do have 2 other interviews that I'm going to schedule for later today or tomorrow. We do have Laura Owens live today as well, but I want to cover 2 interviews and the Reddits that I have found with David. So I'll make that another live so it's not super long. But I do want to play this interview September 15th, 2025. So this was after her body had been found as well, because she was found on the 8th, if I'm not mistaken.
First relationship, and then once that actually happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of spoke the heartbreak into existence, kind of, you know.
Just be real with me.
Love shouldn't be transactional.
Real? Why?
I feel like most of the time, especially like nowadays, people get into a relationship, or we use the term situationship a lot now, where you have to give something to gain something. And I feel like when love is real, it's both parties participating in love. And that's why I love the term falling into it, because it's like sometimes you don't expect it. It could be like super rushed. And people like to take the term, I'm taking it slow, or we should take it slow. It's like love doesn't dictate the timing of it. And you can't really predetermine what that feeling is to you. And I think when people try to plan too much or overcompensate for their lack of emotional intelligence, they kind of make a bunch of excuses for love. And then it's just like more infatuation than the actual emotion. So the way I like to view love is that we're participating in this ceremonious matrimony together, and we should kind of approach it with the journey aspect to it and be in it for like the long run, and not keep expecting and expecting and expecting from someone. If you truly love them, there's no expectation. It's just that's your person, you know.
How did you realize that?
Just years and years of reading and experiencing it, like both sides of the spectrum.
How are you giving an interview like this after you dismembered a girl and she was found in your trunk?
Having the rushed part and then the planned out part, and the plan never goes as planned. It's like, you know, you expect, and then the over expectations kind of ruins your perception of what reality is sometimes. And it's like, oh, this didn't go according to plan, I guess it's all ruined now, which isn't the case. And you kind of self-sabotage in ways that you don't even think is your fault, but it low-key is. So it's just complicated.
What do you mean by that?
I guess like you have this view of this person in your head, and then every flaw is not a flaw. But then once that kind of facade wears off, you spend like months and months or even like years with this person, it's kind of like, oh, you start to get comfortable, they start to get comfortable, and those flaws start to show a little bit more. And it's like, if it was true love, you would stick there and kind of figure it out together. But then some people, they see those flaws, and it's like the imaginary person goes away, you're left with the reality of that person, then you kind of just like are mentally checked out for the rest of it. And that's not how it's supposed to work. So
I think people have a tendency to project what they want on their partners.
Correct.
It's like everyone has this idea of what a perfect relationship is, and then we're going to expect our partner to fulfill that need.
Right.
I think true love is being able to appreciate your partner as they are, for all the beautiful parts of them and all the dark parts of them.
Yeah.
And that level of acceptance is where true.
You guys, this person right here with this yellow orange hair, I don't know what color that is. Respectfully, he needs to, I'm glad he got rid of it. He dismembered little Celeste. So watch this interview with that idea of the reality in your head.
True love shines through.
Right, yeah.
Is there a story behind this for you?
I mean, through experience over the past couple of years of like being in relationships and kind of experimenting with, you know, how love is viewed through my eyes, because I was homeschooled, you know, and then I wasn't doing relationships in school, got into the real world. First girlfriend I actually met in New York, which is actually crazy that we're here. But you know, that and reading a lot and a lot of poetry as well. There's a lot of symbolism and things can be taught through the expression of words. And
Yes, we're learning that through your music and your videos, you murdered and tortured your girlfriend, who was not really your girlfriend because she was a child, so not old enough to consent.
my love language is words of affirmation and spending time together. So words are very important to me, and a lot of the things that are said, you know, when your partner is in a heated argument and stuff like that, kind of shows you who a person is based on what they say. Its actions speak louder than words, but words also speak louder than words sometimes too. So yeah.
Let's not get it twisted, you guys. They were not in a relationship. He was graping her. She was between allegedly 11 when they met.
Speak louder than words.
Yeah. Sometimes you can tell a person's true heart based on what they say. And a lot of the things that you say to someone when you first meet them, it's like your first impressions. But like I said, over the span of like months and years, you kind of start to speak your mind a lot more. And by being around someone a lot more, they start to speak their mind. And you know, when things don't add up right now to what they said like months and months ago, that's becoming, you know, if it's consistent, if the communication is consistent throughout the course of the relationship, then it's like you're locked in. But when opinions start to change and, you know, their entire personality kind of just like starts to shift in front of you, it's kind of crazy.
Is people love to pretend to be somebody in the beginning of a relationship, but their true self shows over time because you can't hide yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easy to get distracted by like a pretty face and then like try to put up with this person because you're compromising on who you are for the relationship. You can lie in the beginning, but you can't lie forever.
Yeah. Through discomfort, lying, you know, that's where the kind of people can fake what they say to you, fake what they do to you. But even the fake and fabricated lying or being deceptive through your words too also shows character. It's all the content of someone's character. And words speak louder than words because you decided to lie with your words. It's not just like truth or untruth. It's basically anything that you say is like, that's who you are, essentially, you know? So it's like, I'll give you an example. Like, you get a gift from your girlfriend, right? But then she's actively cheating on you at the same time. But she gave you that gift. It's not actions speak louder. I mean, she's actively doing something and then telling you one thing and doing the exact opposite. You ever been in a situation where like you want to speak your like real opinion, but in the, you know, in the case of the other person's feelings, you don't say it?
Yeah, 100%.
Just to be like, I guess that also it can be a form of love too. It's like, exactly, yeah. Wanted to keep the peace, wanted to make sure the other person's feelings are intact and stuff like that. Yeah, there's a level of holding back words as well. Not even that they're gonna be mean, but just to like, just the level of kindness, I guess, you know. Yeah.
I think we're taught that you're supposed to be able to tell your partner everything.
Right.
I think that there's a level of love and restraint. There's a level of love and understanding that my partner doesn't like these things, and so I just won't talk about them to kind of honor them, right?
Yeah.
Like my partner's insecure about these things, and so even though I know they're silly and they should trust me, I'm going to explicitly avoid these things for my partner.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people will be like, well, that's not a healthy.
He's very, very creepy. Yes, his nails are painted. Was she his fan? Yeah, I think that's how it kind of started. I think she was in the Discord and following him on social media. And I believe the Discord is how they met. I might be right about that, but
I think that's love.
Yeah.
Like, has love been a big part of your life?
It hasn't always been, because I was homeschooled for the majority of like when love mattered. And then everything was just, you know, parental love and familial love, but not anything romantic. So it wasn't a big part of my early years. And then once, you know, I started doing music and got into the real world, then that's when it kind of came into play. And I was writing songs preemptively. I was like writing all these heartbreak and breakup songs before I even entered my first relationship. And then once that actually happened, I was like, oh my gosh, I kind of spoke the heartbreak into existence, kind of, you know? So yeah, my relationship with love as an emotion is really complicated because I started to expect certain things before they would happen, almost like I was wishing for it. But yeah, no, it's not been a huge part of my personal, you know, vibe, but I've always been infatuated and interested in the concept of it. And that's why I write about the various ways love can go in my songs. But personally, I try to, you know, stay as reserved as possible and not, you know, ruin my perception of it before it's too late, I guess, you know?
I think that it just can be easy to over intellectualize and get lost in that, when I think deep down, all love really is just like a level of acceptance with a partner and being able to choose them over and over again.
Yeah.
What advice do you have for people that are dating?
Ooh, there's no such thing as opposites attract. There is no such thing as opposites attract. There is a level of curiosity that comes with falling into an infatuative state with someone that has the opposite hobbies or different interests in you.
You mean like a child?
But then it comes to the point where if you guys are supposed to be like one unit and operating on a level of synergy that is supposed to be love, it turns into like, oh, I'm busy doing this right now, or I don't really care about your interests. And it becomes into like an argumentative thing where you put your hobbies and interests above your partners because you just don't get it. And there's some scenarios where you do get it, and it's like, oh my gosh, I learned so much from this person. And it's also it also leads to like a breakup, bro. I hear all these stories of like, oh yeah, it just wasn't working, but I learned so much from them. It's like, you guys should be, at least in my point of view, at the same level or have similar interests and similar likes and, you know, stuff like that, so you guys can find a relatability factor in your relationship.
It's disturbing. He's talking about being in love with a child.
And keep it going because you guys like the same stuff, and then exploring new things together instead of introducing your partner to a bunch of stuff that they have no idea about. Sometimes it's like a spiritual thing too. I feel like you have to have a level of empathy for people in general to be able to understand someone like that. And most of the problems I see in like modern relationships is just like the staleness and like the need to be nonchalant for some reason. I see that on like TikTok and Instagram a lot. It's like, oh, I can't let them know that I like them. Da, da, da. It's like, express yourself, express your feelings. And a lot of negativity comes from just like holding stuff in, I've learned, and just like not being there. I feel like an aspect of understanding someone is being there for them. And if you're like not showing up, you won't understand the person or know about anything that they like or are interested in. So it's about showing up and just being around for the person.
I think that's so fair. I think people say we're in a loneliness epidemic. I think we're in a vulnerability epidemic.
Yeah, for sure.
I think people don't want to put themselves out there and be vulnerable and show people how they really feel. And I think it just
vulnerable like the children
leads to this like anti-cringe culture.
Yeah.
I don't want to make the first move, or like when you're dating, you're not supposed to like the other person more. It's supposed to be the other way around. And it just leads to this like superficiality and people being scared. And I think it's not that people don't want to be vulnerable. I just think it's that people are scared.
Of the judgment too. It's like, oh my gosh, why do you love your girlfriend so much? Why do you love your boyfriend so much? Like, oh my gosh, you're a simp, bro. What the
He's very distressing.
You're a simp if you love your girlfriend so much. It's ridiculous.
What are you talking about?
Sue me. I'm a lover boy. My bad.
Bro.
No, so fair. Okay, well, thank you so
He's a killer boy.
much. What was your name?
David.
Preston, nice to meet you.
Yeah, pleasure.
That was awesome.
So that has been deleted off the YouTubes, but very disturbing, you guys. Wow. So that interview was September 15th, 2025. So after her body had been found in his trunk. Yeah. 2 more posts before we end the live. Very disturbing. This one I thought was interesting because it says, this is from Stone. He says, someone who I believe is from the Discord called David out on TikTok 2 years prior. So look at the date, February 26, 2004. Someone says, waiting for LAPD to get your ass for messing with a 13-year-old girl. Yeah. Someone took that to the the police. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. There it is. Someone said that in a comment on February 26, 2024. You know those 40 terabytes? Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely disturbing. And one more post regarding the preliminary hearing that we did already touch on at the beginning of the live. This is from Lawyered Up. In today's hearing that was supposed to be a preliminary hearing, according to published reports, a few things were revealed. The most eye-catching revelation was that the defendant, Mr. Burke, had a lot of what rhymes with corn images in his iCloud account. And he didn't just have those images, he had child corn images. And this is a man charged with continuous SA of a child under 14 years old. No law degree is needed to understand the importance of this evidence. As I posted previously, the police have a lot of tools that defendants don't know about. Did Mr. Burke, at 21 years old, know that the police can obtain a warrant and retrieve files from his iCloud account? I doubt it. The complaint said that on April 23rd, 2025, Mr. Burke invited Celeste to his house in the Hollywood Hills. How did the police know this? Probably from electronic communication between David and Celeste. He was a star on TikTok. Thus, I imagine that the police would have been all over his TikTok content, messages, and posts. Doesn't look good for David. In terms of scheduling, the judge scheduled another hearing for April 29th, where the defense team and prosecution will meet to discuss evidence and how they're going to handle that. And then on 1st is a preliminary hearing, May 1st. The preliminary hearing is an important proceeding in California because it kind of freezes into place the charges that a defendant can face. You can only try a defendant for charges in place at the preliminary, or you can add new charges only based on the evidence presented at the preliminary hearing. This is because a defendant deserves proper notice of the charges. Based on the above, I wouldn't be surprised if the DA amends the complaint to add more charges before or after the preliminary hearing. For instance, the DA can add a charge based on California Penal Code 311.11, unlawful possession of obscene matter involving a person under the age of 1. I think they mean the age of whatever, not 1. They missed a digit there. Well, David is a grown man and is responsible for his own actions. I cannot fathom why he didn't know and nobody told him that this relationship with the 13-year-old was wrong. And why did the adults around him and her keep quiet while this was going on? Or did they tell him, but he ignored them? So, yeah, that's where we're at. Trial in 60 days, and you bet your butt I'm gonna try to be there. I'll have to plan it out. Sick in the head. I know. Absolutely sick in the head. Wow. 71 pounds, dismembered. And I have so many questions. Where was she in those 2 weeks? What the heck? Disturbing, dark, brutal. RIP Celeste. I am so sad for her. This is a recent picture her family has released of her. RIP little Celeste. She went out in a very brutal way. Shook. So if you guys missed the autopsy report, I did read it in full on yesterday's live, and the other interviews and the other deep dive stuff we're going to do, I'll reschedule that for later today or tomorrow. There's a lot more I have to cover with you guys, but I'm going to make it a separate live. Anyways, RIP Celeste. RIP. So until Wednesday of next week, we probably won't really know much. And then another hearing on May 1st. They haven't said if cameras are allowed. Even if they are, there's people there that are reporting. So that's good. I'm sure they asked his parents if they knew she was underage. That's why they didn't want to testify in the grand jury, his parents. They knew. Just so sad. Yeah. Anyways, shout out to you guys for being here. We went through a lot of information today. Please make sure you tap that like button on the way out. I will be back with any new updates. I will be dropping some clips. I have a video on the autopsy coming this evening. And we also have a Laura Owens live if you're into that case. So just remember, we're here to seek justice for Celeste. RIP Celeste. So sad. My heart goes out to her family as well, regardless of the situation. It's terrible the way she passed. Well, that she was murdered, actually, is what happened. So yeah, I appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you are subscribed. Please hit the like button. It helps us small creators get into the algorithm. I would really, really appreciate that. Thank you all for being here. Laura Owens live next. I would love to see you there. Exactly. Justice for Celeste. Thank you for being here. I will see you guys on the next live. Bye.